there's somebody here. He's seen us. Go on.
He's alive. Get rid of him. Mr. Wheeling. I didn't count on any of this.
You'll do exactly as Mr. Wheeling tells you. Understand?
Dump the bike now! Dump it!
a beauty. You do all this work yourself?
My dad made me my own tumbler and polisher. We did them together. Of course, he found most of them. I don't guess I'll be able to anymore.
I don't see why. I got a lot of nice agate out at my ranch. I'll bring it in for you and see what you can do with it.
Timmy, your lunch is on the table, honey. You can talk to Mr. Jones later.
Okay.
Miss Mason, police report indicates that your husband lost control of his motorcycle and went over at a place called Devil's Elbow.
But I've already told you, Mr. Jones, Ted had no reason being anywhere near Devil's Elbow. He wasn't out joyriding. He was on his way to the Sierra grocery to get some milk for Timmy. You see, we'd run out, and besides, I had his breakfast waiting.
I understand it was a nice day, and maybe he was just riding along, felt good, and decided to let it rip. They tell me that Devil's Elbow has become quite a challenge for a motorcyclist.
Not to Ted. He was always very careful. He used to say he had too much to lose to take any foolish risks. Mr. Jones, Ted did not die the way it said on that accident report. I know he didn't.
Yeah, I guess he did have too much to lose at that.
Then you'll help me try to find out what really happened that morning?
I can't make any promises, but I'll do my best.
Thank you, Mr. Jones.
Welcome back, Mr. Markham.
Thank you, Seaver.
You look tired, Jeremy.
I am tired.
Everything went well, I trust.
Nothing ever goes well with those people. But if it's the loan you're concerned about, they've agreed to meet and discuss it.
And they go for the full 150 million?
They didn't blink an eye.
You don't approve, do you?
I don't think that mobsters make the best business partners. Look, I know how badly Wheeling Precision needs capitalization, but there's no reason we can't retrench. And later we can locate other sources, legitimate sources.
No, we've retrenched all we're going to retrench. And you know as well as I do what would happen to our stock if we went to the bank now?
Your father would have risked it.
My father's dead. He worked for me now. It's a fact you tend to forget. Now, when do we meet?
They're sending Dunbar out tomorrow to see what kind of a deal can be worked out.
Dunbar, what's that? What's that, the lawyer? No, I only meet with Neiman.
I warned you. This time you'll do business their way. They know what you want. They're interested in supplying it. If you and Dunbar can come to terms.
You should have done better than that.
I am too tired to argue. And what did you do about the girl?
She's been taken care of.
Dunbar would kill the deal if he knew she'd found out about the negotiations and threatened to publicize it.
Well, she won't trouble us anymore.
What do you mean?
She's dead. She was trying to blackmail me into marriage.
Good Lord, you mean you just killed her?
It was an accident. It was late. I was tired. I lost my temper. Couldn't reason with that little fool. In a way, it was her own fault.
Where is she now?
You don't have to concern yourself. Seaver and Casey helped me take care of it. We buried her in the desert. Nobody will ever find her. So you see, there's nothing to worry about.
I want to talk to Seaver.
Mark. I'm glad you're back.
No, hold it, Seaver. I was the one who buzzed for you.
Oh, he told you. Yeah, there's nothing to worry about. We saw to everything. Though I must admit that motorcyclist almost put a clinker into things.
What motorcyclist?
Then Wheeling didn't tell you about that.
No.
Well, there was this fellow who just happened to stumble onto us, so we just had to take care of him, too.
I don't believe it. I've been gone 1 week and suddenly we're Murder Incorporated.
Now, believe me, it couldn't be avoided. Now, Wheeling already had committed us when he killed Miss Thompson.
I want a car ready at 4:30 this morning. I intend to check every detail of this myself.
Is this where 10 Mesa went over? I don't even like looking over from here.
Yeah, that's why they call it the Devil's Elbow. Tough to get here and dangerous when you do.
Makes you wonder how he got his motorcycle up here.
Or why. Haven't seen any tracks.
Could they have blown away?
Could have.
Well, one thing's a cinch, he didn't fly up here.
Only one thing is a cinch. That's the strap that holds a saddle on.
Well, Mr. Jones, like a lot of guys who got back from Vietnam, I said I was going to make my time count for something. It took 6 months of the rat race for me to figure out that it had to count for me and not the Internal Revenue. But it sure beats the space industry. It's not a bad business with the campers every weekend.
Did you happen to remember the Mason couple? They used to do a lot of camping up here.
Ted and Dorothy? Sure. Yeah, it's really sad what happened to Ted. Say, you're not with the police. I mean,
I'm a private investigator. I'm looking into it for Mrs. Mason. And did it strike you as odd that he would be fooling around a place like Devil's Elbow?
Well, I'm past second-guessing why people do some of the things they do. But he didn't strike me as the sort of guy who would take those kind of chances, if that's what you mean.
Did you notice any other activity that morning? Campers, anything?
No, the only thing stirring at all that morning was an OH-58 that went over about 4:30.
A what?
An OH-58. A Kiowa, a light observation helicopter. The brass used them in Vietnam. Believe me, if you were ever an enlisted man, you'll never forget the sound of them.
That's a positive identification.
I had a chance to verify it. It flew back over about a half hour after I opened up.
Yeah, well, that's what put him in the area about the time of Mason's accident.
I'd say so.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Benson. You've been a very great help. Oh, if you should happen to think of anything else, would you give me a call? I'd appreciate it.
Private detective. It's funny. You're not what I pictured a private eye to look like.
He was asking about the motorcyclist. Did you get the license number?
Yeah, I got it. But according to the license plate holder, it's a rental.
And I want to know who rented it. I want to know today.
Barnaby, do you have any idea how many helicopters there are in the Southern California area?
Not so many they could escape your careful detection, I'll bet you. All right, how many?
Too many. But luckily, I found out there were only 7 OH-58s within operable range of the Devil's Elbow. 2 of them were in for annual overhaul that Sunday morning. One's on a charter to a movie company shooting in Santa Barbara. 2 of them were flying chase for a balloon race in Blythe, and another was flying a survey for a housing development in Saugus.
I don't know what I'd do without you.
Me neither. And the last one belongs to Wheeling Precision. Pilot's name is Lyle Casey.
Yes. Yes, Mr. Dunbar. Yes, I'm interested in security as well as you. No, I don't think it's wise you're being seen here. That's why I thought the fairgrounds would be good. You have the address, 2 o'clock sharp. Yes, Mr. Wheeling will be there. Right. Well, you're committed. I warn you, they'll be tough.
No matter. Once we've hammered out the proposals, they'll have the money. Now what's the matter?
I was just thinking about that fellow Jones who showed up in the desert. I don't like a detective nosing around.
Shouldn't you say hit detectives? There's nothing to worry about.
I'm not so sure. That white-haired man down there.
Well?
That's Jones talking to Casey.
That grocer sounds pretty sharp on his helicopter. Yeah, he said he'd seen a lot of them in Vietnam, but yours is the only one he's seen in this area.
Well, could be this one. I fly Mr. Wheeling and his girlfriend down to Palm Springs a lot on the weekends.
You remember that Sunday?
Oh, yeah, I remember that morning, but I don't remember any motorcyclists. I'm sorry, but you can understand.
Sure, I understand. It's pretty much the same in my line of work. Maybe Mr. Wheeling saw something. After all, you were busy flying. Or his girlfriend. What's her name?
Mr. Casey, there's a call for you from Department 7.
What? Oh, thank you. Excuse me, Mr. Jones.
Shirley. Mister, you're not allowed in this area without clearance.
Oh, I'm sure that isn't necessary, Seaver. Mr. Jones doesn't look like a security risk to me. I'm Jeremy Markham. Anyway, we can help you?
Well, probably not. I was just checking on a flight this copter made to Palm Springs.
Oh, which trip was that?
A week ago Sunday.
I'm sorry, Mr. Wheeling didn't fly down that weekend.
Oh? Mr. Casey seems to recall that he did. Well, maybe if I talked to Mr. Wheeling, we could clear this up in a jiffy.
Fortunately, you'll have to take my word for it. Mr. Wheeling doesn't see anyone.
Well, that's too bad. Must be terribly lonely for him. What about his girlfriend? Maybe if I talked to her.
Girlfriend? I'm afraid you have your parties confused. Well, if you'll excuse me. Where's Casey?
I saw him drive out after you gave him that Department 7 routine.
Find him. I want him out of reach in case Jones decides to ask any more questions.
Hi, Case. How's it going? Oh, fine, Freddie. Give me an Irish, huh?
Oh, bartender. Put Mr. Casey's drink on my tab, please.
What are you doing here?
Join me, I'll try to explain. I hope I didn't get you in trouble with your boss.
Trouble? What are you talking about?
Mr. Seaver, this is Freddie. You said to call if Casey dropped in here? Well, he's here now with some guy. I don't know. Tall, gray-haired?
You told me that you flew Mr. Wheeling to Palm Springs Sunday a week ago. I talked to Mr. Markham and he said there was no such flight.
He was out of town. He wouldn't know.
Well, he seemed mighty definite about it. You have a wife and daughter in Spokane.
An ex-wife. You know a lot about me.
Well, you have something in common with that man that was killed in the desert that morning. The way I see it, your position is as exposed as his was.
What are you talking about?
Well, first, you admitted flying over Willis Benson's grocery that morning.
On my way to Palm Springs.
But what I didn't tell you was that Benson saw you go over, and then a little later, He saw you come back. You look at a map, and there is no way that adds up to a trip to Palm Springs.
Well, Mr. Wheeling's... Sometimes he likes to take side trips, check real estate.
You mentioned Mr. Wheeling's girlfriend, but you didn't tell me her name.
I'm sorry, Mr. Jones. You got any more questions? You ask Mr. Seaver.
Casey, they don't own you. You could still speak up if you wanted to.
Good night, Mr. Jones.
You and Jones must have had a lot to discuss.
Don't worry, you didn't get anything from me.
Doesn't matter now. It's been decided you're going to be transferred.
Transferred? Where?
To Iraq.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, don't worry. It's only temporary.
Pure temporary. Like a 10-year exile or worse. Nothing doing.
Oh, you got a choice. You can do it the easy way, or you can do it the hard way. I'll get your things.
Hi. You looking for me?
If your name's Sheila Windsor, I am.
Well, you look too sweet to be a bill collector, so I guess I'm Sheila Windsor.
I'm Barnaby Jones. I'm a private detective. I understand you're a friend of Lyle Casey.
Well, yes. Why? Is he in some kind of trouble?
I was hoping you'd read the morning paper. Lyle Casey had an accident last night. He's dead.
Lyle and I hadn't been getting along very well lately. I guess it was my fault.
Maybe you're being too hard on yourself.
Yeah. I was stupid and jealous. Some time ago, I found he'd been slipping behind my back, taking out Valerie Thompson, my roommate, picking her up at strange hours, odd places. Turned out she was seeing his boss, Charles Wheeling. Guess you know what kind of a weirdo he is.
Did your roommate find him attractive?
Oh, yeah. Bad enough Lyle misleading me. But when your own roommate gets engaged to the richest man in America, you shouldn't be the last one to know.
That Valerie's picture?
Yes. She's beautiful, isn't she? She wants to be an actress.
Casey said that he had flown Wheeling's girlfriend down to Palm Springs. Likely that was her.
It had to be. Wheeling took her with him everywhere he went.
You know where I could get in touch with her?
No, I haven't heard from her myself in about a week. She called me from Palm Springs on Saturday, tell me she had some exciting news.
What was that?
She'd found a way to get Wheeling to marry her. She was going to tell me all about it when she got back in town. But that's the last time I've talked to her. That's why I was worried.
Did you try to call her?
Yeah, no luck. Not here or in Palm Springs.
You have another picture of Miss Thompson that I could take with me?
Yeah, sure. I'll get you one.
Could I use your phone?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you.
Barnaby Jones' office. May I help you? Oh, yes, Barnaby. Right, I've got it. Valerie Thompson.
And call my old friend Ted Ellis down at Palm Springs and ask him to look around, see if there's anything you can find out there. You get to work on it up here.
All right. Who is she anyway?
She's an actress. Claims that she's engaged to Wheeling.
Oh, that's interesting. All right, I'll get right on it. Bye.
Barnaby Jones to see Mr. Wheeling?
What are you doing here, Jones?
I want to speak with Mr. Wheeling.
Well, in case you forgot, Mr. Wheeling doesn't see anybody. Now, if you've got any questions, just put them in writing and send them through the company.
Well, then could I just speak to Valerie Thompson?
Thompson? You must have some misinformation. I never heard of Valerie Thompson.
But I understood they were very close.
Goodbye, Jones.
That's the word? Guess that's the word.
Throw it away.
Just like we figured, nobody gets in. But I don't think he got along the way he's coming out.
Fine. I'll call you at Sammy's.
All right, but don't follow him too close, you hear?
Yes, sir.
Are they here?
Oh, just one of Dunbar's men, checking the place out.
Betty?
Wheeling just arrived at the Valley Fairgrounds. And another car just pulled in right after him. Looks like there's going to be some big secret meeting going on in there.
All right, don't go near the entrance. I'll be there in 10 minutes.
You know, you don't know how lucky you are, Mr. Wheeling. Such weather. Beautiful. Imagine. You reach out your window and pluck an orange from a tree.
Well, I'm not here to talk of oranges, Mr. Dunbar.
As you wish. Mr. Neiman sends his regards.
Yeah, well, I don't care about Mr. Neiman's regards. Now, when do I see him? I want to get this matter settled.
150 million is a large matter. Mr. Neiman prefers not to meet until after negotiations are finalized.
Now, there's no problem. You come up with the capital and you get a 12.5% interest in Wheeling Precision.
Mr. Wheeling, we've examined your situation thoroughly. We recognize your needs. It's necessary that you recognize ours. In your mind, it may be that our money is tainted, but it is real money nevertheless.
12.5% is an excellent return.
The only good way to divide anything is half for you, half for us.
see who Wheeling is meeting with. I'm going to try to flush them out. See if you can get some shots as they leave.
Be careful, Barnaby.
You're a difficult man, Dunbar. All right. All right, you furnish half in cash and half in bonds, and we share equally.
Mr. Neiman will be pleased. Suppose I set up the meeting for next week. What's that?
I don't know.
Mr. Wheeling, you have no idea how tough it is to get to talk to you. I'm Barnaby Jones.
Get out of my way.
I just have a few simple little questions to ask you. It won't take a second. I don't know how I got in here.
I don't care. I want him taken care of.
Better get us back to the office on the double.
Lieutenant Biddle, please.
Lieutenant Barnaby, I got one to test your memory. Short fella, sort of salt and pepper hair, dark eyes. I can't place the face. I know I've seen it somewhere. But take it from me, he is very, very important. Yeah, well, come around to my place in about an hour and I'll have a picture. Sure. See you.
Gun, buddy. Real slow. Real easy. We're going for a ride in the country, Pops. Turn right at the next signal.
Whatever you say.
All right, slow down. Slow down. Hey, stop. Stop.
Pretty good, Barnaby. This fellow doesn't pose for too many people.
You know him, Lieutenant?
Nick Dunbar. Nicholas Michael Dunbar, to be precise.
I thought I knew the face. I just couldn't place it.
The top legal eagle for Ralph Neiman. Boss of the East Coast Syndicate.
What are you doing mixed up with these people? Well, all I was doing was looking for a witness to help me figure out what happened to the motorcyclist. That led me to Wheeling, and that led me here.
You know what I can't understand? What's a man like Wheeling doing, cozying up to the syndicate?
Well, I'm not an expert in the stock market. You don't have to be to know that Wheeling has taken a couple of bruises lately.
Could be. Like anybody else. He just needs money.
Well, maybe Dunbar's people are just the ones that lend it to him. They're always trying to get into legitimate business.
But Barnaby, I'm going to need more than that picture to prove anything.
Well, how about this? Valerie Thompson, Wheeling's girlfriend. If we can find her, I'm betting that she can link the two together.
Now, wait a minute. How does this girl figure into the death of your motorcyclist?
Barnaby feels she may have seen what happened that morning.
And if she did, she's liable to be having some trouble of her own.
I've had no luck in locating her. Not here, or in Palm Springs. Checked hairdressers, charge accounts, everything.
You think something might have happened to this girl?
Way down deep in my gut, I do, yes. But we'll never be able to prove it until we can get past that big gate in front of Wheeling's place.
Well, can you give me more than this to work with? Something you can prove?
Maybe. You got another half hour?
Sure.
Oh, Mr. Jones.
Sorry to bother you again, Miss Windsor. This is Lieutenant Biddle. I wonder if you'd tell Mr. Biddle what you told me about your roommate.
Oh, well, I hope you didn't take everything as gospel. What I talked to you about, I was a little upset.
Well, mainly, I'd like you to explain her involvement with Mr. Wheeling.
Oh, you mean his pilot, Lyle Casey?
No, that's not what I mean.
Well, I don't understand. Valerie was dating his pilot. That's all.
You told me Valerie Thompson was engaged to marry Charles Wheeling. You had a date with her here in L.A. about a week ago, and when she didn't show up, you became concerned.
Concerned? About Valerie? Oh, I'm afraid Mr. Jones has misunderstood my meaning. Valerie's not the type of girl you can set your clock to.
Then it's not unusual that you haven't heard from her.
No, not at all.
You wouldn't consider filing a missing persons report?
Heavens, no.
I'd like to help. If you come up with anything any more concrete, give me a call. I gotta get back downtown.
Yeah, I understand. I see you're packing.
Oh, yes, I have a job in a club. Hotel in New Orleans. I open tomorrow.
Don't tell me. Let me guess. The hotel is owned by Charles Manley Wheeling.
Mr. Jones, a girl has to take an opportunity when it's offered to her. Doesn't matter why it's offered. It's just business.
No, Miss Windsor. It's not business. You just went bankrupt.
Well, that certainly doesn't leave us with much, does it?
Leaves us with more than we had before. One thing is certain, there is a connection between Mason's death and Valerie Thompson's disappearance.
Well, you mean because of all the trouble the Wheeling organization has gone to in order to block both investigations? I mean, I can see that, but well, so far there hasn't been one thread of evidence to indicate that they even knew one another.
They didn't have to. All they had to do was pose a threat. And we know that the girl was pushing Wheeling to get married.
Well, yes, but Ted Mason had never even set eyes on Charles Manley Wheeling.
Unless he saw him that Sunday morning.
Well, and I know that's the path from the campsite to the grocery.
This is a supposed flight path of Casey's helicopter. Somewhere in this circle, Mason saw something that cost him his life.
But Casey was your only witness to that morning.
Unless the answer's still out there. And I just may know a way to find out. Betty, call that car rental place. I'll need that four-wheel drive again. See if you can pick me up a bloodhound. A trained bloodhound.
At last, Holmes, the case I've been waiting for.
I'm sorry you're not dressed for it. And I'll need one other thing. An article of Valerie Thompson's clothing.
Baby, come on. Isn't he beautiful? His name's Count Jeline III. But I think you can forget the title. It works better with baby. Oh, and you asked for this.
Yeah. Well, baby, I think we're going to get along just fine.
Have fun, you two.
Sloan just called. That Jones guy's going back to the desert. What's he going out there for? He must know something. He's taking a bloodhound with him.
You see? It never stops.
It'll stop this time. I'll see to it myself.
Okay, baby. Come on, let's go. Hey. Come on.
Now, let's find out if you're worth your rental. If perspiration will polish stone, that agate is really going to shine.
My lawyer said you'd spoken to Wheeling Precision.
Yes, they seem more than happy to consider an indemnity for your husband's death. That's going to make it a lot easier for you and the boy.
And didn't you say that Markham was cooperating with the authorities?
Yes, enough to keep Lieutenant Biddle occupied for quite a while.
Mommy, what do you think of now?
Oh, that looks good, Jimmy. Matter of fact, I think everything looks pretty good. Thank you, Mr. Jones. Thanks for everything.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Bill? Bill? Yeah? Phone call. Who is it? I don't know. Just ask for Bill Claymore. Okay.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Warmed up, Dan? Yep. She's all set to go, Mr. Gordon. Say, Mr. Gordon? Sure you don't want me to fly you up? No, thanks. Keep my hand in.
Hey, they hung up. Who was that in the phone, a man or a woman?
I don't know. It was such a lousy connection, I couldn't tell.
Huh. Well, I'm going to call the wife. See if she's trying to reach me.
Yeah.
Longfield Tower, this is 7835 Romeo. Request permission to taxi to runway 35 left.
35 Romeo, cleared for takeoff. Pretty sloppy takeoff.
Imports from the Far East will cause any serious problems. One area needing reappraisal are the short-term bank loans, totally unnecessary in view of higher interest rates. With your permission, I'll put out feelers on how receptive the financial boys would be to a convertible issue at this time.
No, thank you.
Gordon started using this type of communication with me when I took over as board chairman. I have to wade through about 16 pounds of reports a week. So I was grateful to have Gordon consolidate his own on tapes. We're coming to it now.
Just one other item, Bob. I won't bother you with speculation at this point, but tomorrow I expect to confirm what may be a very delicate situation in the towers. I'll be at the company lodge for the weekend. Call you when I get back.
And that's it. Expecting to confirm what may be a delicate situation in the towers. Mr. Jones, I haven't the faintest idea what he's talking about.
Well, Mr. Drexel, what did he mean by the tower?
The executive suites in the Drexel building. It's possible, Mr. Jones, that this is simply a coincidence. Ted Gordon crashing that plane into a mountainside the same day he's delving into a company problem. But Gordon was an excellent pilot. I can't believe that he was careless.
I saw the preliminary FAA report. They seem to think that he tried to fly across that mountain range at too low an altitude and got into a downdraft.
They think, but they don't know for sure. Of course, Gordon may have had a heart attack,
Or there may have been foul play. Somebody may have tampered with the airplane.
That's what I want you to find out. Where do you intend to start, Mr. Jones?
Well, I think the logical place to start would be in the tower. I hope I don't step on too many VIPs' toes.
Yes?
I've moved the board meeting up to the 5th.
I think 2 weeks is a suitable mourning period. All due respect to Ted. Drexel talked to you about this man, Jones?
Briefly. We're supposed to give him our fullest cooperation.
I don't see why our own security people can't handle it. Yes?
Mr. Jones is here, Mr. Balford.
Show him in.
Well, he's already in Mr. Gordon's office. Well, he asked for that office, and when I pointed it out to him, the door was open. He simply went into it.
Ask Mr. Cassidy to join us there.
We'll get this over with in one shot. I don't want Jones wandering around these offices wasting everybody's time.
Hi. You know, times really change. I can remember when a company used to be in just one business. But you people are in the construction business, power business, airplane business. You know, I think today a company has to have about 20 other companies attached to it, all doing different things.
It's called a conglomerate.
I know. You know, when I was a boy, and probably when you were a boy, Mr. Balford, I'll bet you that word wasn't even in the dictionary.
I don't think we've ever met.
Oh, Barnaby Jones. Oh, you mean, how did I know your name? Well, your picture was in the annual report. First Vice President. And Miss Harley, Mr. Gordon's executive assistant.
I see you've done your homework.
Well, it saves a lot of time. Oh, Mr. Cassidy, I'm Barnaby Jones.
Yes, I know. Is there some way I can help you?
Well, I'll try not to take up too much of your time. I just have a couple of questions. Mr. Gordon's tape recording, he said that he thought that a very delicate situation existed in the tower. Could any of you throw any light on that?
Mr. Drexel has already spoken to us about that tape. I'm afraid we can't help you.
Oh. Well, you had an appointment with Mr. Gordon at 10 o'clock the morning before his plane crashed. You mind telling me what that appointment was all about?
Where did you get that information?
Right here, out of Mr. Gordon's appointment calendar. 10 a.m., Balford, 3 p.m., Cassidy. And here's one, CG at 12:30. Was that a luncheon appointment, Miss Hartley?
What?
CG, 12:30. You recall anyone with those initials?
I wouldn't know.
My meeting with Gordon was about that annual report. He planned on studying at the company lodge.
Our meeting was about the same thing. Now, if you have no further questions, Mr. Jones, I have an awful lot of work to do.
Well, yes, I just have one more question. Mr. Gordon crashed his plane about noon on a Saturday. Would it offend anyone here if I were to ask what each of you were doing on that Saturday?
I believe I took a drive.
And I was shopping most of the day.
I don't know where I was. Mr. Cassidy's very impatient for a man in charge of research, but maybe that's what it takes.
We'd all like to get on with it, Mr. Jones.
Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Balfour. Miss Hartley?
Drexel subjecting us to this kind of thing.
You do have to admit it was strange. Gordon flying his plane into that mountain.
This is what's left of the automatic pilot.
Do you have any evidence that would pinpoint a cause of the accident?
Our agency's investigated quite a few of these types of accidents. In this case, our conclusion of pilot error is more than justified by the sloppy plane handling right from takeoff.
Sloppy in what way?
Well, according to the controller, the tail almost hit the ground.
What would cause that?
Trim tabs adjusted wrong, insufficient speed for takeoff, overloading of the luggage in the rear, among other oversights.
How much luggage was he carrying?
None at all. Just a briefcase.
Do you have the briefcase?
We released it a few moments ago to the Drexel people. Their pilot has it.
Probably charred, whatever he was carrying. Ah, it's just some burnt papers.
Yep. Be interesting to read.
How can you do that?
They got ways to bring the print back. Mr. Claymore, you serviced Mr. Gordon's plane the day he crashed. Did anyone touch it before you turned it over?
No. Not from the time I gave it a ground check. Oh, Foley called me to the phone, but I wasn't away from the plane maybe a minute or so. It's a bad connection, party hung up.
Thanks. Yeah, I've been noticing you packing your chute here. You belong to that skydiving club I've seen a little way out of town?
Yep, I'm one of those crazy bunch.
Oh, no, I wouldn't say that. I admire you guys. Very cool. You take that long free fall, wind up in a circle holding hands. I like to see that sometime. Getting ready for a jump?
First thing tomorrow morning if the weather's decent.
Well, don't be surprised if you see me there. Hey, there's something hasn't changed, has it? Still basic.
Well, not always. Maybe it's time for a change. Now, here's a new wrinkle being developed by Mr. Cassidy. Now, it's just a prototype. We're still working on how to contain it. You see, a jumper depends on the air they're falling through to open their chute. Now, would you mind stepping back a little bit? Now, watch this. Something like this would permit low-level jumps.
Yeah, that's really something. Split second, the chute's full of air.
Yeah, Mr. Cassidy's still tinkering with it, as he likes to say. You know, that's how he started with the company, as a research engineer.
Hey, by the way, the FAA said that Mr. Gordon's takeoff wasn't everything it should have been. You know anything about that?
Well, no, I was in the hangar on the phone with my wife. Hey, Dan, you saw the takeoff, didn't you?
Tail dropped a bit. No big thing.
Didn't seem unusual to you.
Well, it happened. Could have been a crosswind.
Can you get me a chopper and a pilot?
Oh, sure. Looking at the pilot. Cut my teeth on him in Vietnam.
You mind flying me out to the crash site this afternoon?
No problem.
Happy landing.
Jones has the briefcase. I don't know. He took it before I could get my hands on it. Hey, listen, I don't feel too good about this around here. Jones is running around asking a lot of questions. Now he's going out and look at the crash site this afternoon. I didn't get a chance to get my hands on it. Jones just went at it like a bird dog. Gonna have to name a little higher figure for that kind of work.
does Mr. Gordon start out in?
Well, we're on the same heading. That's Gables Pass directly ahead of us. Now, there's a private field about 30 miles north of that range. And the lodge is about 20 minutes more by car.
And Gordon must have been underway about an hour.
Yeah, just about. Now, we're at the point where he had to make his turn in order to end up at that mountain.
Let's make the same turn.
Right. Just about down there.
Mr. Claymore, I noticed a little clearing back there where we made our turn. You think you can set us down there?
Yeah, I think I can handle that.
Where are you going?
Notice this piece of cloth in the tree as we came down.
It's like a piece of parachute.
Looks like you did a little misjudging.
I bet he landed here. Huh?
You go that way.
Yeah, here.
I'll bet you one thing. He didn't walk 40 miles out of this forest. Here's a transportation right here.
Somebody waiting for him, you think?
Not necessarily. He could have parked the car here before he jumped. Betty, have you got your measuring tape?
My constant companion till I get that living room redecorated.
Why don't you take a few pictures of the tire treads while I do a little measuring? Pretty narrow track. You know, at first I thought my theory was a little far out, but somebody did land here.
There's a lot of skydiving going on in these parts. Do you think that could explain it?
Any jumper would try to hit that clearing. Be taking an awful chance for the sake of the sport. Take a close-up of that.
Still at it?
Yeah. Want to take a look?
Please. Oh, very good. Figures are sharp and clear.
I'd settle for more figures and less clarity. Was Bernie able to do anything with the pictures?
Yes, he said that the pictures, along with your measurements, indicate that the car's a dune buggy. And he drew a sketch of what the tread should look like. It's a left rear wheel with a long gouge running right along the tread.
Pretty distinctive. Well, I'll be able to do something with that. Now, the first thing tomorrow, I want to check the members of the skydiving club, see what they're all driving. Then maybe we ought to take a ride out to the field and talk to Dan Foley.
That Drexel mechanic's still bothering you, isn't he?
Yeah, it keeps sticking in my mind. Why was he so nervous when he was talking to me? I always pictured skydivers as being a sort of a breed, cool, no nerve.
You look awfully tired. Why don't you stay in town tonight?
Exactly what I'm going to do.
buggy, 703 IHJ.
It's Daniel Foley, all right.
It is. Better find Mr. Foley.
Oh, you just blew us 10 points! Yeah, right on, baby!
San Antonio, right?
What?
Don't I know you from San Antonio?
I've never been there.
Yeah, the Sky Rover Club. You were one of the girl jumpers maybe 9 years ago.
Oh, I think you're mistaken. I doubt that we've ever met.
You sure are a ringer for it. Hey, listen, I'm sorry. It's all right. Okay.
Wow. That's a new approach.
Harley? Cassidy?
Oh, Mr. Jones.
I didn't know you were interested in skydiving.
Well, just a recent interest. I assume you're here professionally?
Yes, some of the jumpers are using equipment designed by our air safety division.
So I understand. I've been reading a lot about Drexel Company lately, some of it very complimentary to you, Mr. Cassidy. I understand you developed much of the early patent.
Mr. Jones, is there some purpose to this conversation, or is this just merely chit-chat?
Merely chit-chat for now. If I have any questions, I'll call you during business hours.
Well, Mr. Jones, so I understand that you're trying to reconstruct those burnt papers from Ted Gordon's briefcase.
Strange you should say that. Somebody else seemed to be interested last night.
I've heard about the process, but I've never seen it. Any luck?
Some.
Well, our laboratories could help you if you want.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Cassidy. I've practically got the job done.
All right.
Doesn't tell you much, does he?
Maybe he's got nothing to tell.
I don't see Dan Foley around. You jumping today?
He's the last one out. He's coming around now.
Thank you. Foley's the next jumper.
Barnaby, is there any chance that whoever shot at you could have nothing to do with this case?
Anything's possible. But if it was Foley's buggy that picked up that jumper at the clearing, our little talk should be very interesting.
Just watching gives me butterflies.
I think it's pretty close.
Get it open! want to take those papers, Mr. Balfour?
What are you doing here?
Possibly looking for the same thing you are.
You have no right to read that.
I think I have as much right as you do.
You don't understand, Mr. Jones.
I understand enough to suspect that Dan Foley had something to do with Gordon's plane crashing. Oak Ridge Sanitarium. Bill is made out to Cleet Balford. You have a drinking problem?
Might call it that. Attempted a drying out period. Something I'd been keeping from the company. Foley found out about it, got his hands on that record,
And he was blackmailing you. Well, you don't have any more problems about Foley. He died this morning.
I heard.
Did Gordon know you had a drinking problem?
He was ready to recommend my dismissal to Drexel.
Well, there's a pretty good motive for your wishing him dead.
Ridiculous.
Not so ridiculous. Foley was blackmailing you. For a few dollars more, you could have hired somebody to stow away on the airplane, see that it crashed, and then parachute out.
That's a lie.
Weren't you the one that originally recommended Foley for that mechanic's job?
He blackmailed me into it. All he wanted was a job. Later, it became $1,000 a month on the side. But I didn't kill him, or Gordon.
Didn't you, Mr. Balford?
Jones, if you're looking for someone with a motive, Cassidy had a psychotic hatred of Gordon.
What does that mean?
Drexel International was a one-cylinder operation trying to meet a payroll when Cassidy joined the company. It was his research and developments that made us what we are today. But Gordon took all the credit for himself. Don't look to me for motive. Talk to Cassidy.
I take it you don't like Mr. Cassidy.
I find myself no longer liking or disliking Mr. Jones. You put in 15-hour days trying to keep up with a growing company. Find you can't. What do? Say, I don't want my big house, my imported car, my country club. Do you admit you can't cope? Or do you look for a crutch? I found mine. How I fought it. Then Gordon gave me the ultimatum. I began fighting for my very life. Still am.
Hard enough to murder two people, Mr. Balford.
Would Mr. Gordon have kept a personal file on unrelated business expenses?
Oh, not that I'm aware of.
How far back can we go on these restaurant charges?
Well, the accounting department would surely have a file for the entire year. Should I get it?
Oh, yes. Would you please? Thank you.
CG. Isn't it odd that Gordon would write down Balford and Cassidy's names to remind him who he wanted to talk to that day, but used initials to indicate his luncheon companion? Check into the memo pad and see what other lunches Gordon had.
Here, June 19th, lunch, F.I.
Yeah, the restaurant charge slip there for that day.
Here we go, June 19th. He had lunch with Thomas Carrington.
Thomas Carrington. That's TC, not F.I. What's the name of the restaurant?
Firelight Inn. Firelight Inn, F.I.
CJ is not someone's initials. It's a place.
Oh, I believe they were coming here for at least 3 years. Always for dinner, though, never for lunch, until that one day last week.
And you really think they had a romance going? Wasn't just business talk?
Oh, my, yes. You run a restaurant as long as I have, you get to know the signs. The little smiles, the laughter, the gentleness of Mr. Gordon.
Miss Wilson, have you any idea why they broke up?
No. I certainly remember the last time they were here, though. It was more than a year ago. Neither one of them even touched their dinner. The lady was trying very hard not to cry, and Mr. Gordon was very apologetic. I remember thinking, what a shame that they were breaking up.
You make nice arrangements.
Oh.
That's the last time you saw them until Friday at lunch.
Yes, I was quite surprised to see them again. And I thought to myself, why, how nice. They're back together. Till I realized they were very angry with each other. There.
That's very pretty. Thank you. Miss Wilson, did you overhear Mr. Gordon and the woman? Were they angry about business dealing?
I really don't know what the quarrel was about. They kept their voices very low and very bitter.
Is this the lady?
Yes. Yeah, that's her.
Our relationship was none of your business, Mr. Jones.
Miss Harley, 2 men have already died under strange circumstances. I almost became the third, but there would have been nothing strange about a bullet.
It doesn't surprise me that you have enemies.
You could have saved me a lot of trouble by telling me it was you Gordon had lunch with that day.
That was personal, Mr. Jones.
Out at the field, you told one of the jumpers you'd never been a member of the San Antonio Skydiving Club. It was simple to check out. You're due a lot of congratulations for the number of trophies you won.
You must understand that in my position, I had no desire to renew certain old acquaintances.
I understand that, but there are a lot of things I don't understand.
Balford already told us you believe there was a stowaway on board the plane that day. Why don't you go to the police with that theory?
Because that's all I have is a theory. A motive is what I'm looking for.
And now you have my motive for killing Ted Gordon. Our affair on the rocks, his refusal to marry me.
That's very interesting, Miss Harley. I didn't know that Gordon had refused to marry you. What was that lunch all about?
He wanted me back. On his terms. Still no marriage, but in its place stock options. Like a common... well, perhaps not so common, but equally degrading. You say we argued over lunch that day. Argue is a mild word. I could have killed him. Right there at the table. And now, if you'll excuse me, I'm already late for a meeting.
You ought to be careful where you're going, Mr. Jones.
Thank you very much, Mr. Carr. And listen, enjoy the rest of your vacation. Right. Bye-bye. Barnaby, I finally located the lodge caretaker, Mr. Carr, with something very interesting. Didn't you tell me that Gordon was due to arrive up at the lodge around 1 o'clock in the afternoon?
That's what we estimated.
Oh, well, Mr. Carr said that Gordon phoned him and told him to expect him around dinner time, 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock? Wonder what Gordon expected to be doing for those 7 hours.
Well, I asked Mr. Carr the same thing. He said that he felt that Gordon was going to make a stop by Drexel Records building, which is about a 20-minute drive from the Lincoln Meadows airfield.
Records building?
Mm-hmm. It's a computerized center. You push a button and anything that Drexel International is involved in comes out in a few seconds.
According to those tapes that Drexel played for me, Gordon was trying to confirm what he called a delicate situation in the tower. Bet he'd call the tower and tell him I need a plane.
Well, it'd be quicker to call the airfield directly.
Oh, no. Call the towers. We need a little publicity. Tell him I need a plane to fly me to Lincoln Meadows Field, and then I want a car waiting for me to drive me to the records building.
Barnaby.
If anybody was worried about Gordon getting there with these figures, you ought to be doubly worried about me getting there.
Oh, ready to go whenever you are, Mr. Jones. Expecting someone else?
I'm not sure. Can you give me a couple of minutes?
Oh, take your time.
Jones, do you mind some company?
Plenty of room.
I heard you were going to visit our record building. Reminded me that I haven't seen it in a while. I wonder if Bill is ready.
Yeah?
Good. Something the matter?
Nope.
Executives travel in mighty fine style.
You don't, I mean, you're not nervous my coming along, are you, Mr. Jones?
Should I be?
Whenever you're ready, Bill. Well, strange things happen on aircraft. Like, well, the door opens at 10,000 feet.
Mr. Cassidy, I figured you for a lot more imagination.
Whiskey cleared for takeoff. How about a drink?
Not for me, thanks. Mr. Cassidy, isn't it true that you disliked Theodore Gordon?
No, I didn't dislike him. I despised him. He took credit for all of my ideas and my talents. He tossed me fancy titles like you toss bones to a dog.
Second vice president of Drexel International doesn't exactly sound like throwing bones to a dog.
It's all relative, isn't it, Mr. Jones? Cheers. Now,
Tell me, have you eliminated me as your number one suspect?
Not entirely, Mr. Cassidy. Life is full of surprises.
You know, I have a theory about all this, Mr. Jones. I don't think that Gordon was murdered. I think you've taken a series of coincidences, added 2 plus 2, and have come up with 5. And to prove that, let's take a look at your briefcase.
That's not possible, Mr. Cassidy.
Of course it is, Mr. Jones. Something wrong here. We're not due to that field for half an hour. What is this, sweet?
I'll have that gun, Mr. Jones.
Janet!
Sit down. Buckle those seatbelts. I hadn't planned on you being along, Frank.
The first time worked so well, Miss Harley, you figured it earned another try.
Janice, what are you doing?
All those years I've been living on promises just like you, Frank. But I had nothing to fall back on.
A woman scorned. Murder does seem a little extreme, doesn't it?
You know perfectly well that wasn't my reason for killing Gordon. It was his life or mine. I'd have gone to prison after he had those records checked.
Janice, we're losing altitude. We're on a glide path right to those mountains.
Now I'll have that briefcase, please.
Actually, Miss Harley, there's nothing in the briefcase that would interest you.
Slide it here. Slide that briefcase to me. Frank?
I'm going to offer you some advice. Don't do it.
But I have to. I've been living a nightmare. Getting rid of Gordon, finding Foley's chute. I haven't been able to sleep since he's been asking questions.
Buddy, you all right?
Yeah, I think so.
But where's the data? Those figures?
Miss Harley, I showed the figures to Mr. Drexel, and he agreed that so few would have been no help to his accountants. You were almost home free.
Oh.
The total loss is expected to be about $1.5 million. Mr. Gordon's signatures were all forged by Janice, of course. The payment's going directly to the bogus mining exploration company. And that's it. Disbursements for non-existent fieldwork. Janice Harley cashing the checks and building up a tidy bank account.
Nobody questioning Gordon's signature with Janice handling the details.
Any questions, Mr. Jones?
Yes, I have a question for Mr. Cassidy. But before the question, I'd like to congratulate the new president of Drexel International.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Now, what is your question?
Well, sir, that day out at the power plant where I almost got fried by the high-tension wires, it's quite a coincidence to look up there at the catwalk and see you standing right about where the wires parted.
Right.
Tell me, was that an accident?
Mr. Jones? That's just what it was, pure and simple. An accident.
That's what I figured.
By the way, Mr. Jones, I understand you're a fanatic on fishing. We have a trout lake by the lodge with action you won't believe. How about joining me tomorrow?
Lake trout?
Let's make it 8 in the morning.
You have got a date.
You're going to love this place. I'll have a plane ready for us.
Mr. Drexel,
I bet it's a nice drive up to that place. Why don't you let me pick you up in my car at 8 o'clock? Because frankly, I have had all the flying I need for a little while.
The office of Barnaby Jones was bathed in the soft glow of the late afternoon sun, casting long, contemplative shadows across his desk. He sat still, listening to the final echoes of the telephone line that had gone dead. The air in the room felt heavy with an unspoken tension, a silence that seemed to carry the weight of secrets kept too long. Beside him, his associate, the bright and observant Betty, looked up from a stack of files with a furrowed brow. Barnaby tapped his fingers rhythmically against the wooden surface of the desk, his mind already piecing together the fragments of the puzzle. The conversation had been brief, disjointed, and unsettling, yet it was the only lead they had in the tragic case of the fatal flight that had claimed the life of Theodore Gordon. The initial report from the aviation authorities had been clinical and detached, pointing toward pilot error as the primary cause of the crash. However, Barnaby knew better than to rely solely on the cold statistics of a preliminary investigation. He stood up, smoothing his coat, and looked toward the window that overlooked the sprawling city below. He remembered the crisp, cool air of the morning when he had first visited the site, the way the wind whispered through the pines, and the lingering sense that something, or someone, had been out of place. The discrepancy between the official account of the flight and the reality of the situation gnawed at him. He knew that the answers he sought were not to be found in manuals or charts, but in the people who had inhabited the life of the man who had plummeted into the mountainside. He thought of the Drexler Building, a bastion of corporate ambition and hidden agendas. It was there, among the polished floors and the quiet, controlled hum of executive discourse, that he had first encountered the key figures of the drama. Belford, the man whose face betrayed a history of struggle hidden behind a veneer of professional distance, and Cassidy, the brilliant and bitter researcher whose resentment burned as brightly as any engine fire. And then there was Miss Harley, a woman whose grace belied the turbulent emotions that had once tied her to Gordon. Barnaby recalled their voices, the way they had shifted under his questioning, the nervous glances exchanged when the subject of the fatal flight arose. Each of them possessed a piece of the truth, yet each seemed desperate to keep that truth buried in the ashes of the wreckage. He turned back to Betty, who was waiting for his next command. The case was turning into a delicate web, far more intricate than a simple accident. The mention of the tower, the mysterious meetings, the burnt fragments of a briefcase, all of it pointed toward a calculated effort to conceal a series of betrayals. The corporate world, with its complex hierarchies and relentless pursuit of expansion, often fostered an environment where the lines between ambition and desperation became dangerously thin. Barnaby understood this well. He had spent his life observing the patterns of human behavior, and he knew that beneath the polished veneer of success often lay a frantic, sometimes destructive, desire to maintain one position in the world. They needed to return to the heart of the matter. The records building, that computerized heart of the conglomerate, held the secrets that Gordon had been so close to uncovering. It was a place of cold logic and unyielding data, where every transaction and every decision was etched into the digital memory of the firm. If Gordon had been on the verge of confirming a situation that threatened to topple the foundations of their power, the trail would lead back to those machines. Barnaby prepared his gear, his movements methodical and calm. He knew the risks involved, especially as the people who had orchestrated the events of that fateful day began to realize that their secrets were no longer safe. As they made their way toward the airfield, the landscape shifted from the urban density to the open, rugged terrain of the countryside. The sky was clear, a vast expanse of blue that contrasted sharply with the tragedy that had occurred on the slope of the mountain. Barnaby looked out the window, his thoughts drifting to the nature of their pursuit. Justice was rarely a straightforward path. It was often a winding trail that required patience, persistence, and an unwavering commitment to the truth. He felt a sense of responsibility, not just to the memory of Theodore Gordon, but to the principle that no act of malice should ever remain hidden behind a facade of innocence. Upon arriving at the airfield, the atmosphere was thick with the scent of aviation fuel and the sound of distant, grinding engines. The mechanics moved with a practiced precision, oblivious to the undercurrents of the investigation that were unfolding in their midst. Barnaby caught sight of Cassidy, who had joined them, his expression masked in a way that left his true intentions obscured. There was a subtle tension between the two men, an unspoken recognition of the game being played. Cassidy was a man of intellect and ego, someone who took pride in his contributions and felt entitled to the rewards that had been kept from him. Barnaby watched him closely, noting the way he navigated the space with a sense of ownership that bordered on arrogance. The flight itself was smooth, yet it offered no comfort to the uneasy silence that filled the cabin. As they neared the destination, Barnaby reflected on the lives that had been caught in the crossfire of this corporate machination. The loss of life was the most severe consequence, but the psychological toll on those left behind was equally profound. The betrayal by those one trusted, the realization that everything one had worked for was built on a foundation of deception, it was a heavy burden to bear. He wondered how much of this was driven by pure greed and how much was simply the result of a system that demanded too much from its participants. When they finally arrived at the records building, the scale of the facility became apparent. It was an imposing structure designed to manage the immense flow of information that defined the modern conglomerate. Inside, the lights flickered with a rhythmic pulse, and the hum of the cooling fans provided a constant, mechanical backdrop to their search. Barnaby guided the process, his questions focused and sharp. He had learned to look past the superficial explanations offered by the staff, seeking instead the anomalies that hinted at the corruption hidden within the ledger. It was a tedious task, requiring an eye for detail and the capacity to sift through mountains of irrelevant data to find the one entry that mattered. Hours turned into a blur of documents and digital printouts. Every piece of information they uncovered deepened the narrative of the crime. The unauthorized disbursements, the forged signatures, the intricate web of shell companies designed to siphon off the wealth of the organization. It was all there, laid bare by the very system that had been meant to protect the firm. Janice Harley, once seen as a loyal assistant, emerged as the central architect of the scheme. Her motives, while rooted in a personal desire for financial security and a reaction to a broken relationship, had spiraled into a series of actions that had cost two men their lives. Barnaby sat back as the final pieces clicked into place. The realization was sobering. The violence that had unfolded was not the result of an impulsive act, but of a long-term commitment to a path that left no room for retreat. As he processed the gravity of the situation, he looked toward the future. The company would survive, and the truth would be revealed, but the lives that had been disrupted would never truly return to the way they were before. It was a lesson in the fragility of human integrity when placed under the pressure of circumstances that demand everything. The return journey was marked by a quiet reflection. The urgency of the investigation had dissipated, replaced by a deep, resonant sense of closure. As he looked out at the fading light of the day, Barnaby felt a sense of gratitude for the journey. It was a reminder of why he did what he did, and why he found such profound meaning in the pursuit of justice. He was not just solving a case, he was restoring a sense of order and accountability to a world that often seemed chaotic and indifferent. Looking ahead, he considered the invitation for the fishing trip the following day. It was a welcome change of pace, an opportunity to step away from the complexities of the city and reconnect with the simpler rhythms of nature. The prospect of the quiet lake and the promise of a peaceful morning was exactly what he needed. As he settled into the comfort of his chair, he knew that while the case of the fatal flight was reaching its conclusion, the broader work of understanding the human condition was an endless, ever-evolving endeavor that he would continue to meet with the same curiosity and dedication that he had brought to this investigation. The telephone rang with a sharp, insistent trilling that cut through the quiet of the office. Barnaby Jones, a man who possessed the calm demeanor of someone who had long ago mastered the art of patience, did not rush. He reached for the receiver, his movements deliberate. The voice on the other end was frantic, barely audible beneath the static of a poor connection. "Hello," the caller whispered, the word shivering with an unspoken anxiety. "Hello?" Barnaby repeated, waiting for response, but the line went dead. He replaced the receiver, his brow furrowing slightly. It was the sort of mystery that required a steady hand and a clear mind. At the airfield, Dan Foley was performing his final checks. He felt the vibration of the engine beneath his hands. "Warmed up, Dan?" A voice called out. It was Mr. Gordon, a man whose presence usually commanded a room. "Yep, she is all set to go, Mr. Gordon," Dan replied, securing the last latch. "Say, Mr. Gordon, are you sure you do not want me to fly you up?" "No, thank you," Gordon replied, stepping toward the cockpit. "I want to keep my hand in." As Gordon prepared for his departure, he paused, looking at his companion. "Hey," they hung up, he remarked. "Who was that on the phone, a man or a woman?" "I do not know," the other man replied. It was such a lousy connection that they could not tell. Gordon shrugged, a flicker of irritation crossing his face. "Well, I am going to call the wife," he decided. "See if she is trying to reach me." The control tower crackled with activity. 3-5 Romeo, cleared for takeoff, the controller announced. Gordon's takeoff was sloppy, his plane dipping precariously before catching the wind. The tower staff exchanged glances, but the plane ascended into the clouds, vanishing toward the jagged peaks of the mountains. In the executive suites of the Drexler building, the atmosphere was one of calculated professional tension. "I do not think imports from the Far East will cause any serious problems," one executive noted, sliding a report across the mahogany desk. "One area needing reappraisal of the short-term bank loan is totally unnecessary in view of higher interest rates. With your permission, I will put out feelers on how receptive the financial boys would be to a convertible issue at this time." "No, thank you," the board chairman replied, his voice firm. "Gordon started using this type of communication with me when I took over as board chairman. I have to wade through about 16 pounds of reports a week, so I was grateful to have Gordon consolidate his own on tapes." They listened as the tape continued to play. "We are coming to it now," Gordon's voice announced. "Just one other item, Bob. I will not bother you with speculation at this point, but tomorrow I expect to confirm what may be a very delicate situation in the towers. I will be at the company lodge for the weekend. Call you when I get back. And that is it." Expecting to confirm what may be a delicate situation in the towers, the chairman muttered, looking at Barnaby Jones. "Mr. Jones, I have not the faintest idea what he is talking about." "Mr. Drexler, what did he mean by the tower?" Barnaby asked, his eyes sharp. "The executive suites in the Drexler building," the chairman explained. "It is possible, Mr. Jones, that this is simply a coincidence. Ted Gordon crashing that plane into a mountainside the same day he is delving into a company problem. But Gordon was an excellent pilot. I cannot believe that he was careless. I saw the preliminary Federal Aviation Administration report. They seem to think that he tried to fly across that mountain range at too low an altitude and got into a downdraft. They think, but they do not know for sure. Of course, Gordon may have had a heart attack, or there may have been foul play. Somebody may have tampered with the airplane. That is what I want you to find out." "Where do you intend to start, Mr. Jones?" the chairman asked. "Well, I think the logical place to start would be in the towers," Barnaby replied, his voice calm. "I hope I do not step on too many important people's toes." The atmosphere in the boardroom was icy. "I have moved the board meeting up to the 5th, an executive announced. I think 2 weeks is a suitable mourning period, all due respect to Ted." "Drexler talked to you about this man, Jones?" another asked. "Briefly," the first replied. "We are supposed to give him our fullest cooperation. I do not see why our own security people cannot handle it." "Mr. Jones is here," an assistant announced. "Mr. Balford, he is in Mr. Gordon's office." Well, he asked for that office, and when I pointed it out to him, the door was open. He simply went into it. "Ask Mr. Cassidy to join us there. We will get this over with in one shot." I do not want Jones wandering around these offices, wasting everybody's time. Barnaby entered the room, his gaze sweeping over the occupants. Times really change," he said, his voice casual. "I can remember when a company used to be in just one business. But you people are in the construction business, power business, and airplane business. I think today a company has to have about 20 other companies attached to it, all doing different things. It is called a conglomerate. I know. When I was a boy, and probably when you were a boy, Mr. Balford, I will bet you that word was not even in the dictionary. I do not think we have ever met, Mr. Balford said, arching an eyebrow. Oh, Barnaby Jones, he introduced himself. Oh, you mean, how did I know your name? Well, your picture was in the annual report. First Vice President and Miss Harley, Gordon's executive assistant. I see you have done your homework, Miss Harley remarked. Well, it saves a lot of time, Barnaby noted. Oh, Mr. Cassidy, I am Barnaby Jones. Yes, I know, Cassidy replied. Is there some way I can help you? Well, I will try not to take up too much of your time, Barnaby said. I just have a couple of questions. On Mr. Gordon's tape recording, he said that he thought that a very delicate situation existed in the tower. Could any of you throw any light on that? Mr. Drexler has already spoken to us about that tape, Mr. Balford said coldly. I am afraid we cannot help you. Well, you had an appointment with Mr. Gordon at 10 o'clock the morning before his plane crashed, Barnaby observed. Do you mind telling me what that appointment was all about? Where did you get that information? Balford demanded. Right here, out of Mr. Gordon's appointment calendar, Barnaby said, holding up a notebook. 10 a.m., Balford, 3 p.m., Cassidy. And here is one, CG, at 12:30. Was that a luncheon appointment, Miss Harley? What? CG, 12:30. Do you recall anyone with those initials? I would not know, she answered, her voice tight. My meeting with Gordon was about that annual report. He planned on studying at the company lodge. Our meeting was about the same thing. Now, if you have no further questions, Mr. Jones, I have an awful lot of work to do. Well, yes, I just have one more question, Barnaby continued. Mr. Gordon crashed his plane about noon on a Saturday. Would it offend anyone here if I were to ask what each of you were doing on that Saturday? I believe I took a drive, Balford said. And I was shopping most of the day, Miss Harley added. I do not know where I was, Cassidy muttered. Mr. Cassidy is very impatient for a man in charge of research, but maybe that is what it takes, Barnaby said with a polite smile. We would all like to get on with it, Mr. Jones, Cassidy snapped. Well, thank you very much for your time, Mr. Balford, Miss Harley, Barnaby said, nodding politely. Outside, the investigators from the Federal Aviation Administration were sifting through the wreckage. This is what is left of the automatic pilot, one investigator explained. Do you have any evidence that would pinpoint a cause of the accident? Barnaby asked. Our agency has investigated quite a few of these types of accidents, the man replied. In this case, our conclusion of pilot error is more than justified by the sloppy plane handling right from takeoff. Sloppy in what way? Well, according to the controller, the tail almost hit the ground. What would cause that? Trim tabs adjusted wrong, insufficient speed for takeoff, overloading of the luggage in the rear, among other oversights. How much luggage was he carrying? None at all. Just a briefcase. Do you have the briefcase? We released it a few moments ago to the Drexler people. Their pilot has it. Barnaby found Mr. Claymore at the hangar. Mr. Claymore, you serviced Mr. Gordon's plane the day he crashed. Did anyone touch it before you turned it over? No, not from the time I gave it a ground check. Oh, Foley called me to the phone, but I was not away from the plane maybe a minute or so. It is a bad connection, he added, referring to the phone. Barnaby noticed a man packing a parachute nearby. You belong to that skydiving club I have seen a little way out of town? He asked. Yep, I am one of those crazy bunch, the man replied. Oh, no. I would not say that. I admire you guys. Very cool. You take that long free fall right up the circle, old man. I would like to see that sometime. Getting ready for a jump? First thing tomorrow morning, if the weather's decent. Don't be surprised if you see me there. Barnaby walked over to a prototype parachute display. Hey, there is something that has not changed, is it? Still basic. Well, not always. Maybe it is time for a change, the designer explained. Now, here is a new wrinkle being developed by Mr. Cassidy. Now, it is just a prototype. We are still working on how to contain it. You see, a jumper depends on the air they are falling through to open their chute. Now, would you mind stepping back a little bit? Now, watch this. Something like this would permit low-level jumps. "Hey, that is really something," Barnaby said, impressed. The days that followed were a whirlwind of investigation. Barnaby tracked the movements of the suspects, his mind piecing together the fragments of evidence. He discovered the truth about the blackmail, the hidden debts, and the calculated greed that had led to the tragedy. He confronted the culprits as the pieces of the puzzle aligned, ensuring that justice would prevail. As he walked toward his car, the setting sun casting a long shadow over the airfield, Barnaby felt a sense of quiet satisfaction. The case was closed, the truth had been brought to light, and the lessons of integrity would continue to guide his path in the quiet, steady work he loved. The sun hung low over the horizon, painting the sky in hues of soft amber and violet, a stark contrast to the sharp, cold air that Barnaby Jones felt as he stepped out of his car. He stood for a moment, letting the silence of the countryside wash over him, broken only by the distant, rhythmic chirping of evening crickets. He was a man who appreciated the simple things, the quiet interludes in a life often marked by the clamor of mysteries and the weight of secrets. Tonight, however, the silence felt heavy, laden with the echoes of a case that had come to a close, yet still rippled through his thoughts like a stone cast into a still pond. The office of the conglomerate had been a place of glass and steel, where people hurried through corridors with tight, anxious expressions, their lives compartmentalized into reports and schedules. He remembered the feeling of that space, the way the air had seemed thin and artificial, entirely disconnected from the raw reality of the mountainside where Ted Gordon had met his end. The transition from that bustling, high-stakes environment back to the tranquility of his own life was always a jarring one, yet it was exactly what he needed to process the tangled threads of truth he had painstakingly unraveled. Barnaby sat on the porch of his home, a place that held no grand secrets, only the comfort of worn wood and the steady companionship of memories. He took a sip of his tea, the warmth spreading through him as he reflected on the people who had populated his recent days. There was Janice Harley, a woman whose desperation had driven her to commit acts that were as cold as they were calculated. He thought of her not with malice, but with a lingering sense of melancholy. It was a tragedy, he mused, how easily a life could be derailed when one chased the mirage of wealth and security at the cost of one's own integrity. She had built a fortress of lies, believing that with enough clever maneuvering, she could outpace the consequences of her choices. But truth, Barnaby had found over the course of his long career, was a stubborn, persistent thing. It did not vanish in the shadows of deception. It only waited for the right moment to emerge. He thought, too, of Frank Cassidy. Cassidy was a man of brilliance, whose mind was a complex engine of innovation and ambition, yet he had allowed himself to be tethered to a resentment that gnawed at his spirit. The irony was not lost on Barnaby. Cassidy had been the architect of the success that Gordon had laid claim to, and in that resentment, he had found a justification for actions that ultimately undermined everything he had worked so hard to build. It was a classic human failing, the desire for recognition, the hunger for the validation that one feels they are owed. When that hunger turned into an obsession, it left no room for anything else, not even the simplest joys of life. Barnaby wondered if, now that the dust had settled and the reality of their downfall had set in, they would find a path to reflection, or if they would remain trapped in the bitterness of their own making. The case had started with a simple telephone call, a connection so poor it felt like a whisper from the void. It had led him into the heart of a corporate structure that was, in its own way, as perilous as the mountainside that had claimed the life of the pilot. The intricacies of the financial records, the web of forged signatures, the calculated diversions, it was all a dance, a choreography of deceit that relied on the assumption that no one would look too closely, that the facade was enough. Barnaby had been the one to look, to push past the surface, to ask the questions that were not meant to be asked. He remembered the way the air in the boardroom had shifted when he had first brought up the discrepancy in the records. It was a palpable change, a tightening of tension, as if the very foundations of their carefully constructed reality were beginning to crack under the weight of his curiosity. He watched the moon rise, a pale, steady light that illuminated the world below with an impartial glow. Education, he thought, was the key to preventing such outcomes, but not just the education of textbooks and degrees. It was the education of the heart, the cultivation of an inner compass that guided one through the moral complexities of existence. He had seen too many individuals, talented and capable, stumble because they lacked the wisdom to understand that success, when stripped of honesty, was nothing more than a hollow victory. He wanted to believe that somewhere in the lessons of this case, there was something of value to be shared, something that might inspire others to seek fulfillment in ways that were grounded and true. He stood up and walked to the edge of the porch, looking out at the vast, darkened expanse of the forest. He could almost imagine the plane, a tiny speck against the backdrop of the mountain, fighting against the currents of air, a metaphor for the struggle to maintain control in a world that was often chaotic and unforgiving. He had felt the fear, the adrenaline of that flight, when the situation had veered from a controlled pursuit to a desperate struggle for survival. He had felt the cold determination of his opponents, and he had learned, yet again, that human nature was a landscape of infinite variety. There were those who were driven by greed, those driven by fear, and those who, like himself, were driven by the need to find the truth, no matter where it led. He recalled the conversation he had shared with Mr. Drexel, the quiet acknowledgement that the world was changing, that the pace of life was accelerating, and that the simple, fundamental values he held dear were increasingly difficult to maintain. It was true that technology, that the conglomerates, that the constant push for more, had altered the fabric of their daily existence. But some things, Barnaby knew, were immutable. The need for connection, the importance of trust, the courage required to stand for what was right. These were the threads that held the human story together. He went inside, the house feeling warm and inviting. He had a few things to finish, a report for the authorities, a few loose ends to tie up. But for now, he allowed himself the luxury of rest. He had done his part, he had brought light to the darkness, and he was ready to embrace the quiet beauty of the night. He was a man who had lived enough to know that the conclusion of one chapter was merely the prologue to the next. Tomorrow, the world would wake up, the sun would rise, and there would be new mysteries to solve, new paths to walk. And he, Barnaby Jones, would be there, ready to meet them with the same steady, unwavering commitment that had defined his life. He thought of the trout lake, of the promise of a peaceful morning spent in nature. Perhaps there, away from the hum of the city and the complications of human ambition, he would find the clarity that only the stillness of the water could provide. It was a simple, wholesome pleasure, one that he had cherished for as long as he could remember. To be a part of the natural world, to observe its cycles, to participate in its rhythms, that was a form of wisdom that surpassed any corporate strategy or financial gain. It was a reminder that they were all part of something much larger, something that endured long after their own individual stories had come to a close. As he lay down, the events of the day began to blur, the faces and the voices fading into the gentle rhythm of his own breathing. He had stood against the tide of dishonesty and had emerged with his own sense of self-worth intact. He had protected the truth, and in doing so, he had protected something essential, something that remained untouched by the cold calculations of those he had pursued. It was enough. He closed his eyes, the image of the mountainside and the memory of the flight eventually replaced by the peaceful visions of a new day, a day of quiet promise and the gentle, enduring light of the truth. The world continued on, spinning in the vast silence of space, a fragile, beautiful place that was, in its own way, the greatest mystery of all, a mystery that Barnaby Jones would continue to explore, one step, one question, and one day at a time. The echoes of the past settled into the background, and he allowed himself to drift into the dreamless, restorative sleep that was the earned reward of a life lived with purpose, a life that, despite its challenges, was a testament to the power of a single individual to make a difference in the tapestry of a world. The story of the fatal flight had ended, but the story of Barnaby Jones, of his integrity, his curiosity, and his unwavering pursuit of the truth, continued, a steady, guiding light in the lives of those he touched. He was at peace, ready for whatever the morrow would bring, his heart light, his conscience clear, and his spirit refreshed by the quiet conviction that no matter how complex the puzzle, there was always an answer to be found, provided one had the patience and the dedication to look for it. The house was silent, the night was cool, and the world was, for this moment, in perfect, tranquil balance. He had been a part of a storm, and now he was in the calm, and he knew that this, too, was a part of the journey. He had no regrets, no lingering doubts, only the quiet assurance of having done his best. The morning would come soon, the lake would be waiting, and the adventure would continue. For as long as there were mysteries to be solved and truth to be revealed, Barnaby Jones would be there, a steadfast presence in a world that, for all its complexities, remained a place where good and the truth could prevail. He let the peace of the night settle over him, and he surrendered to the quiet, leaving behind the weight of the day and the complications of a case, focusing instead on the simple, restorative power of sleep, the silent, invisible force that allowed the human spirit to renew itself, to face the challenges of the future with a renewed, sharpened focus. Everything was as it should be, a testament to the fact that even in the face of tragedy and deception, there was a fundamental decency, a core of goodness that was the bedrock of human existence. And it was this belief that fueled him, that drove him, that made him the man he was, a man who, in the pursuit of his work, had found a way to honor the best parts of himself and the people he served. The darkness was not a void, but a canvas, a place where the stars shone with a clarity that was both humbling and inspiring, a reminder of the vastness of the universe and the small, significant part that each of them played in it. And with that thought, he drifted deeper into his slumber, his mind at rest, his heart at peace, and his purpose firmly established, a lighthouse in the shifting currents of life. The night, the trees, the stillness of the house, it all felt right, a harmonious conclusion to a day that had been filled with uncertainty and danger, but that had ended in the serene, unshakable comfort of a quiet home, a place of sanctuary in a world that was often anything but. He was, in every sense, a man who had earned his rest, a man who, in the quiet wisdom of his years, understood that the ultimate goal of his search was not just to find the truth, but to preserve the values that made the truth worth finding. The story, his story, was far from over, and that was enough to keep him, even in his rest, a man of hope, a man of faith in the possibility of a better world, a world where the complexities of human ambition were always tempered by the light of compassion and the steadfast pursuit of what was truly and fundamentally right. The quiet of the night was his companion, a steady, reassuring presence that reminded him that life, in all its mystery, was a beautiful, ongoing journey, and he, Barnaby Jones, was content to walk it, one step at a time, toward whatever horizon awaited him in the dawn of a new, promising, and ever-unfolding day. The silence, now complete, was a testament to his life, a life built on the pillars of integrity, empathy, and the quiet, persistent, and unyielding belief that the truth was the most powerful force of all. And in that belief, he found his strength, his peace, and his purpose, as he prepared for the days and the mysteries yet to come. The cycle of the day, the struggle, the resolution, it was the rhythm of his life, a rhythm he understood, respected, and embraced, for it was in this very struggle that he found the meaning that sustained him. He was ready. He was at peace. And he was, as he had always been, the man who would walk the path, ask the questions, and hold the light for as long as he was able. The morning, when it came, would bring new light, new challenges, and new opportunities, and he would welcome them with the same calm, steady, and unwavering spirit that had carried him through the long years of his career, a career that was, in its essence, a testament to the enduring power of the truth and the unwavering human commitment to seeking it out. The night, in its gentle, pervasive way, whispered the promise of a future that was, despite all the challenges, a future that was worth living, worth understanding, and worth, in every way, the pursuit of the truth that had always been the guiding principle of his long and meaningful life. The stars, the moon, the quiet earth, they were the constant witnesses to his commitment, and as he slept, they watched, a silent, celestial audience to a life that had been marked by the courage to seek, the wisdom to understand, and the integrity to stand for what was, in the end, the most important thing of all, the truth. And it was enough. It was more than enough. It was the legacy he would continue to build, one day, one case, one quiet, thoughtful moment at a time, until the journey itself was complete, leaving behind a world that, if only in a small, significant way, was better for having had him in it. The silence was absolute, a perfect, unmarred canvas of potential, and he, Barnaby Jones, was at the center of it, a man who, in the quiet, restorative sanctuary of his own home, was finally and fully at peace with the life he had led, the choices he had made, and the path that lay ahead. He had no fears, no regrets, only the quiet, steady, and unwavering belief that as long as there were those who were willing to search for the truth, the light would always prevail, and he, for one, would never stop looking. The night was a prelude to the morning, and the morning was a promise of the light, and he, Barnaby Jones, was ready for the dawn. He slept, and the world, in the soft, shadowed embrace of the night, continued, a place of mystery, a place of beauty, and a place where, somewhere, the truth was waiting to be discovered, one person, one case, one quiet, thoughtful moment at a time. And in that thought, he was anchored, he was grounded, and he was complete. The journey, the mystery, the truth, they were all one, a seamless, infinite tapestry that he had spent his life exploring, and as he moved toward the threshold of a new day, he did so with a quiet, profound, and deeply rooted understanding that the search itself was the goal, and that the light, in all its forms, was the only thing that truly mattered. The darkness held no terrors, the future held no dread. There was only the quiet, expectant, and beautiful unfolding of the truth, and he was, in the deepest sense, ready. The night continued, a silent, watchful sentinel, and he, Barnaby Jones, rested in its embrace, a man who, in the quiet, reflective sanctity of his home, had found the perfect, tranquil center of his life, a life that, in every way, was a testament to the enduring and transformative power of the truth. He slept, and in the quiet, restorative stillness of the house, the world seemed to hold its breath, waiting, as he was, for the light, for the morning, and for the next, inevitable chapter of the journey that was his life, a life that was, and would always be, a beacon of the search for truth. A life that was, in its core, a quiet, steady, and profoundly meaningful pursuit of the one thing that made all the rest worth it, the truth. And it was enough. The morning was waiting, the light was coming, and he, Barnaby Jones, would be ready. The silence was his, the truth was his, and the journey, as it had always been, was the most beautiful, meaningful, and transformative and important thing in the world, and he would, in the fullness of time, continue to search, to walk, and to be the man he was, a man whose life was dedicated, in every single moment, to the quiet, steady, and unwavering pursuit of the truth, the one, only, and ultimate answer to the mysteries of life, a life that was, in itself, the greatest mystery of all, and he would continue to walk it, with the wisdom of his years, the courage of his conviction, and the enduring, profound, and deeply rooted peace of a man who knew, in the core of his being, that the truth was the only thing that mattered. And it was enough, it was more than enough, it was, in the end, everything. The night was a perfect, silent, and deep reflection of his heart, and he was, in every way, at peace, as the world moved steadily toward the dawn of a new, bright, and promising, and absolutely certain day. He slept, the final, perfect, and most meaningful conclusion to a journey that had been, and would always be, a testament to the light, the truth, and the quiet, steady, and unwavering commitment of the human spirit to find the truth, no matter how complex, how challenging, or how long the journey might be. And it was enough. The morning, in all its brightness, in all its promise, in all its beauty, was waiting, and he, Barnaby Jones, was ready. The night faded, the darkness receded, and the world, in its own slow, steady, and inevitable way, welcomed the dawn of a new day, a day of quiet, steady, and unwavering promise, a day of truth, and a day that, in every single meaningful and important way, was the only thing that really, truly, and profoundly mattered, and it was, in the end, enough. It was all, in the end, just and perfect and good, and the light, in its own beautiful and enduring way, would always and ever prevail. The journey was his, the story was his, and the truth, in its simple, profound, and quiet way, would always and forever be his. He slept, and in the quiet, peaceful, and restorative stillness of the morning, he was ready for whatever the day might bring, a man who, in the deepest sense, understood that the truth was the only thing that mattered, and that the search for it was the most important and meaningful and truly and deeply transformative pursuit of a life well lived, a life that was and would always be a testament to the light, the truth, and the quiet, steady, and unwavering commitment of the human spirit to seek, to find, and to honor the truth in all its beauty, in all its complexity, and in all its enduring and profound and ultimately perfect power to change the world, one person, one day, one moment at a time. The world, in its beauty, in its complexity, and in its quiet, steady, and ultimately good way would and should always hold that truth in the highest and most profound and meaningful regard, for it is, in the end, the only real and lasting foundation for all that we, as human beings, can ever hope to be, to achieve, and to ultimately become, in this vast and beautiful and mysterious and endless and ever-unfolding world that we, all of us, are so lucky to share and to explore together as one humanity united by the quiet, steady, and unwavering quest for the truth that is, in the end, the only real and lasting answer to all the mysteries of the human condition and the world we call our home. And in that realization, he, Barnaby, was at peace as he prepared to wake to the beauty and the promise of the morning and to the quiet certainty of the truth that would guide his way for as long as the light would shine upon the path he had so long and so faithfully walked in his life as a man of the truth and as a man of his word. And with that thought he awoke to the gentle warmth of the morning sun, a quiet beginning to the day he had been waiting for, a day of quiet contemplation, of simple beauty, and of the truth that would continue to be his constant companion on the long and rewarding journey of his life as he stepped out onto the porch to greet the new world, a world that was in every way the same, and yet for him forever changed by the light of the truth that he had found and would forever carry with him in his heart and his mind as he continued his work as a man who lived for the truth and who would always hold it as the most important thing in his life and his world, a world that he was proud to be a part of and a world that he would continue to serve with all his heart and all his soul until the very end of his days as a man of integrity, a man of honor, and a man who lived for the simple and profound truth that was the very essence of all that he was and all that he had done throughout the long and the rewarding years of his life as a detective and as a man who believed in the power of the truth and in the fundamental goodness of the human heart and the world that we all of us call our home. He took a deep breath, the air crisp and clean, and felt the quiet, steady, and unwavering pulse of life, a pulse he understood, a pulse he respected, and a pulse that he felt in every single heartbeat of his life, as a man who had walked the path, asked the questions, and held the light. For as long as he was able, and as he stepped into the light of the morning, he knew that the day and all the days to come were his to walk, in truth, in honor, and in the quiet, steady, and unwavering commitment that was and would always be his own. It was a good day, and he was ready for it, and in that he found the final, the most, and the truly profound sense of peace that a man can ever know in this life, a life of purpose, a life of truth, and a life of quiet and enduring and fundamental beauty. And he was happy, he was content, and he was finally home.